recording is in progress.
Okay, so thank you, Andrew. So now at this point in time, this is again week 125 of our Indigenous Unity Summit, our IGU Summit. So we are playing the presentation of the Maui Aloha project. So we can share the screen. Hopefully everybody is seeing mostly just a black screen.
Yes, it's still black so far.
Aloha and welcome to the Maui Aloha project. MAP. We are dedicated to the transformation of consciousness, co-creating a new earth.
So what is aloha? Well, it's part of our name, and it means a lot of things. It means, first and foremost, unconditional love. And the letters of aloha, there's beautiful alertness, watchful, working with unity, in truthful honesty, in humility, and of course with patience is all a part of aloha. So my name is Keisha Joy. I am a Vision Council member. Been a marine biologist for over 35 years, dedicated to the waters. I'm now an aquatic therapist, and I am for the protection of all waters on our planet.
And I'm Stephanie Schuler. I'm a doctoral student in my final year of study at the University of Toronto, OISE, the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, where I particularly am focusing on curriculum, teaching, and learning, and also holistic well-being. I'm a learning and community regenerative design consultant with a background in play. And I am a co-founder and director of UnityNet International at Uni, which is dedicated to address the sustainable development goals for the globe through communication and practical food systems learning. Mira?
My name is Mira Rose. I'm the one in the middle. Keisha's on the end to the right, and Stephanie is the one next to me, to my left. And we also have two more members, Shelley Paul on the far left, and then Lale, who is to my right there on the picture. And together we make the foundation stones of the Maui Aloha project, which was begun so many years ago on a beach in Maui with a great deal of love and aloha and fun, and blossomed into the collaboration of very powerful women to bring forward our individual dreams into one consolidated, happy dream that we could invite the world to share.
Keisha.
So the land acknowledgement, Mira and I are here on the island of Maui, and we would just like to acknowledge Hawaii as a Maui Aloha project. We acknowledge in support of the sovereignty of the original indigenous culture and the people of Hawaii, the Kanaka Maole from the Kingdom of Hawaii.
And myself, Stephanie, I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and we too would like to acknowledge that the land that we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. The Maui Aloha Project mission statement. We are a thriving model community embodying a new global paradigm of conscious co-creation of a sustainable new world. MAP, it's transforming human consciousness through the exploration of education, healing arts, and many diverse cultural, agricultural, and technological practices, serving a compassionate and wise stewardship of Mother Earth. And here, one of our Malama Pono supporters of Maui Aloha Project from the beginning drew us a rendition of what a community may look like, with a mother tree in the center of our property, with dining halls surrounding and with the access and the vista of seeing the natural surroundings. And we see in the bottom left, guest housing, and we see in the top right where residents, people who live on the property would dwell. And we see in the center and above all kinds of spirit spaces where we can practice yoga or qigong or dance or have silent meditation. Towards the upper left, we see a healing center with a water sanctuary, with sweat lodges, with therapy rooms. And then we see in the bottom right corner, the education and farming milieu where there's co-working spaces, democratic schooling opportunities, art studios, and of course, animals, our barns and our stables, and our farm for our regenerative and sustainable producing of our own food. And the vision statement for the Maui Aloha Project: we are creating a blueprint for thriving, living, and learning communities that serves as a model for future generations. Employing sustainable and regenerative living design practices, we aim to rear children and communities as one family, caring for the earth and each other with aloha. Maui Aloha Project's priority is to celebrate and honor all people and all cultures. This is a paramount in our collective vision. Keisha.
The beautiful people, indigenous people on our planet, holding the wisdom for the new earth that we know in our hearts to be true. And so we have the New Zealand Maori, we have the Hawaiians, we have indigenous Native Americans, we have the Inuits, and we celebrate all of the indigenous peoples on our planet.
Mira.
So what is the Maui Aloha Project? Okay, well, actually, it's a vision of a new world projected onto the physical reality. And we are in the process of creating that, all of us here on planet Earth. But in general, when we speak about the manifestation of individual communities, we talk about an eco-village and our funding foundation, which is the Seeds of Life Funding Foundation, and Spirit Tours, which is a cultural ecotourism business. And here are some of the most important statements that we make about ourselves. First of all, we're water protectors, busy restoring water sources and returning the water to the people. Land is to be given back to the indigenous people, and it's not owned, but it is stewarded. And we offer cultural teachings, including a spirit of inclusivity and respect. And our tourism is focused on our local culture, honoring sacred sites. And the eco-villages have healing and wellness sanctuaries, education centers, permacultural and diverse farming collectives, spiritual centers for seekers of truth, and regenerative places of natural beauty enjoyed by all. The Seeds of Life Foundation, which was mentioned earlier, is a granting foundation And we will have access to monies to support community infrastructure, to provide a seed bank, and to support our local food programs in abundance. And we will be working on strategies for healing the land, the streams, the oceans. And we will be working on preservation of particularly our Hawaiian culture here in Maui, but indigenous cultures around the world. And we are also creating jobs that will support a flourishing economy wherever we live, wherever we are.
Keisha.
So water protection, so important for this planet. Here on Maui, there was a place, well, as you know, the fires may have, that have ravished through Lahaina. On the edge of Lahaina, you find a little location that was once revered as the capital of the Hawaiian Islands, where the chief and the ali'i lived. And this sacred site is known as Moku'ula Island, or Mokuhinia Pond. And in the doctrines of the Hawaiian people, and preserved in their genealogical chants, there is a story of this very special place. It's believed to have been the first, been accessed about 600 AD as a sacred site. And Moku'ula is remembered as a piko, or a connecting point, like our umbilical cords. Or another term is an axis mundi of the earth. So it's a central point where massive energy is distributed. And there's an important deity that's associated with this really very special location. And she is kind of guardian of the inner earth waters and springs. Her name is Kiha Wahine. She's believed to be the life force of the energy of water. She is a quantum feminine unifying force who is depicted kind of as a lizard goddess or a water dragon. And Moku'ula is under the guardianship of this Kiha Wahine. So there exists a divine meridian at the Moku'ula that penetrates the crust of the ocean all the way to the sacred aquifer. And if you can hit the next slide. And in order for this inner earth water and potent energy to be distributed on the surface, it needs this piko. And that is a representation of Kiha Wahine. So Moku'ula is this piko, is this opening. And it's undeniable at this time that this entire sacred site be restored, especially now, since the fires have cleared away and the Lahaina must be rebuilt. And the indigenous culture and those who are strongly called and the Maui Aloha Project will be participating in every way possible to assist with the restoration as a high priority of this project. And you can see what it used to look like in the ancient days. Next slide. So this is sort of the overlay of the pond that used to be Moku'ula. Moku'ula is the island in which lots of, it was basically an altar that you would leave offerings, and you would have to swim into the pond to leave the offerings. And this is what we'd like to restore in Lahaina as we rebuild. Next slide.
And Maui Aloha Project, both as a eco village on Maui, Hawaii, and also as eco villages around the world. Our sustainable community, here we see a map of Maui, and various points of the island. And we know that the ultimate or optimal growing altitude is around 2,000 feet in elevation. Our sustainable communities will include an educational center, a healing and wellness sanctuary, eco-village and peace center, and a permaculture farm. And we hope to be an international conference center for peace negotiations all around the world. We hope that the learning centers will be that learning as a paradigm, school and rearing the children as a paradigm will be multi-generational education centers where children and elders and all community members come together in a democratic learning environment, such as agile learning centers. But and the University of Toronto, OISE, and the Center on Disability Studies at the University of Hawaii are in support of these transformational learning paradigms. We hope that the learning centers will include indoor and outdoor education, where children and all the people within the learning center can connect with community and culture and Mother Earth. Self-directed education recognizes the gifts and talents of every individual. Every child is unique. And Maui Aloha Project empowers children of all ages and also mixed age learning environments, not just isolated to one age group at a time. And we asked Maui Aloha Project, both from a learning and from a development, human development perspective, we question our current educational practices. Are our values in line with how we live our lives? Do schools' values reinforce children's and households' priorities? If we could redesign the school and workplace, what would we do? What would we do with the spaces, the physical spaces, the schoolhouses, the workplaces, the play places? What would we do with the ratio of indoor and outdoor time and indoor and outdoor free time and also learning time? And what would the school week look like? What would the school day look like? Would it allow children, especially in the elder years and the teen years, to sleep in and get the proper sleep that they need? And would we segregate, as mentioned, students by age versus having an all-age inclusive schoolhouse? And then also, Maui Aloha Project is dedicated to having balanced lifestyles that balance the sedentary ways of sitting in the schoolhouse and sitting in the office place with non-sedentary and active endeavors. And an externally imposed curriculum, which is called pedagogy. That means self-directed learning, allowing each child and each person in our learning community to direct the learning to their natural curiosities, interests, and strengths. Keisha.
So we also envision sustainable farming practices. You know, we embrace permaculture, aquaculture, composting, biodynamic agriculture, all of the beautiful things that are in alignment with our earth. So we definitely need our soil to be remediated, especially here on Maui, where we grew sugarcane for so long. We need biodiverse growing, gardening. And so there's so many beautiful ways to speed up the soil remediation and get it back to its nutrient-rich, beautiful quality. There is a program here on Maui, an aquaponics degree that you can earn at the University of Hawaii. We have partnered in with them, and there's just wonderful ways to grow food, and this technology will definitely be part of MAP. And of course, we know from seed to the community, from literally growing food in our own lands and not shipping in food that's been processed, and having this in a beautiful organic restaurant in our groceries and our community kitchens so that people can thrive and their health can thrive. Of course, our building with the greenest innovations that possible, greenest materials and methodologies. So the earthen structures, the bamboo, the hemp, the cob, all part of the vision for building on this land.
And we've put some pictures in here from some of the eco villages that we visited, and also the various kinds of dwellings. We've just put a few in here. And this is from the Green School in Bali, Indonesia, an amazing indoor-outdoor school and learning environment. And here we have some program spaces. We have houses that are in a kit that you can drop that are fireproof and waterproof, and a kava. And this is from near the Ojai School in Ojai, California. And here are some earthen spaces, different materials that could be used to build resilient dwellings, and gathering spaces that can look in all kinds of different ways with different kinds of materials, so that the community can come together and have meetings or play, socialize, read quietly, have a coffee, listen to a lecture. And then private huts, private spaces, either for accommodation or for office spaces, or for silent retreats and sacred ceremony. And then possible housing and personal spaces, low-cost options and various designs. These are houses on wheels, otherwise known as tiny homes. There's some little cabins. They can be built as cheaply as $20,000 upwards to $200,000. And this is what some of the spaces can look like inside, left in a tropical environment. And then on the right, they can look really modern and sophisticated, even with an upstairs level. And then, of course, this is some of the more traditional opportunities, how you can dwell and keep a space. Here are some different communities, what some of the different houses and communities look like. And then also there's repurposing things that we have discarded in our society. What happens to the old train cars? Look how modern it looks on the inside, how up to date. This is becoming a big business. There's even caboose cities. And it's smart what happens to these materials, and even airplanes. Look how glamped out the inside of an airplane can look. Who knew? And other kinds of options. Keisha.
So health and wellness is definitely a top priority in order for us to thrive as a community. We want to have a health and wellness center that has everything that you can imagine. Of course, massage and hands-on beautiful work is optimal, with Reiki, energy work, acupuncture, chiropractic, reflexology, and offering different retreats and workshops also really help us thrive. One of my main focuses is on the water sanctuary, and I am an aquatic therapist and a Watsu practitioner, and I believe that water can heal us in so many different ways. So I envision definitely a Watsu pool that's heated to body temperature, and envision classes happening and people learning how to do this modality. Resets your nervous system. I also envision different ways of healing in water, and hot and cold plunges and steam rooms, light and sound also infused in the water, sound bowls in the water. So this water sanctuary is just every way that you can heal with water, which is an amazing element.
Mira.
These med beds are a part of an advanced technology, a frequency medicine that is just coming into its own on the planet. And there will be med bed centers throughout the world, but we particularly want to have one on our various communities that we establish. And the med beds are capable of a total transformation of the human body, and also the psychic and spiritual effects are amazing. So this is something that we really want to have as part of our healing center. So we also want to have a spiritual and cultural center, and these can be the same building or many different buildings. We could have various cultural centers representing different cultures, as they do in Oroville, or we could simply have one for the Indigenous Hawaiians here in Maui, for example. And our spiritual centers will be a place where we can do ceremonies, where we can gather together, where we can pray, where we can do hula and various kinds of dance and music performances. But basically, the spiritual centers will be a place where we recognize our oneness, and we bring together the people to celebrate together our spiritual origins and the beauty of our hearts. Sound healing is a very important part of the new world of healing. And these pyramids are in Bali, and they're an example of some of the kinds of buildings that will be constructed in our communities for specific purposes of healing. And sound is basically frequency. Frequency is sound. So when you bring sound and light together, you have the perfect formula for healing the body and the mind.
Sound, light, and water, I would say.
All right. So we're also going to have a big focus on integrating the life and happiness of animals, and they will be important in the educational program for children of all ages, to learn how to integrate compassion and the sharing of our earth with the animals, and to learn responsibility as we caretake them, and receive all the love and joy that they have to offer us. So this is just an example of some of the riding trails, and the medbed facilities will also have medbeds for animals to help heal the animals as well.
Keisha.
Alternative energy sources. Okay, we know this is super important. You know, we can't just keep burning fossil fuels, and so really looking into alternative energy sources and quantum technologies that are coming, that are even coming online as we speak, and in the future, more of a free energy machines, and the quantum giving us things that don't deplete our environment. And we're very much behind having this be a part of our mission. So in our community, it's going to be very important to have ceremony, to have regular dances, to move our body, to have meals together and gatherings, and circles, and of course, conflict resolution, council circles, and ho'oponopono, and different meetings that are really constructive and are solutions to how we can live together and take care of each other in the best way possible. And so we really, really, we see that as a really healthy beautiful thing to have community. And we all know what it was like when we were kind of in our lockdown away from community and how important it is for us. So this is what we see. Also, it's incredible to be out in nature and just to absorb all of the healing that we can get in nature. So many trails and vistas and labyrinths and different sacred sites will be preserved. Of course, streams and waterfalls, basically offering opportunities really for us to kind of connect in with nature as deeply as possible, as we are nature.
And Maui Aloha Project is consulting with other well-established eco-villages and intentional communities. Our Vision Council has visited and lived in many well-known communities around the world. Mira has lived in Oroville, India, and Keisha has spent time at Esalen, lived at Harbin Hot Springs, and spent time at Sierra Hot Springs. And I visited Findhorn and Hollyhock. These are places in India, in California, USA, in Scotland, in British Columbia, Canada. Many of our Vision Council people have spent time at Kalani on the big island of Hawaii. And we've spent time also at Rancho La Puerta in Tecate, Mexico. And all of these communities look the same and different. They all have their own personality and their own focus, but we've learned much from them. And by spending time at these communities and even living in these communities, we've had the opportunities to ask questions. If you were to rebuild your community right now, what must you do? And if you were to rebuild this community right now, what mustn't you do? What have you taken away? What are the highlights? What are the pros and what are the cons? And we're trying to gather that information and learn the best possible processes for Maui Aloha Project to support the co-creation of intentional community and be eco-village centers of excellence around the world and on Maui, Hawaii. And there is a chapter of Maui Aloha Project Canada who calls themselves Nature Paradise Eco Village, who are a group of Canadians, mostly in Ontario, Canada, who are like-minded people. And we've been meeting weekly online and in person for years. And this group is wanting various land and spaces for living, learning, and well-being. We're looking for properties, for farms, for spaces, for urban co-housing possibilities, and for our MAP Canada community to commence sustainable and regenerative design practices. And also, Maui Aloha Project is working with UnityNet International, UNI, which is a humanitarian enterprise and global sustainable and regenerative development corporation, supporting and promoting the local delivery of open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure set up as life learning gardens. And what does that mean? We hope that we will be establishing gardens, learning gardens in Maui Aloha Project and the various places around the world and other communities where the community and the children can practically take part in a hands-on, experiential, daily, regularly participating in food systems learning and food systems practices from seed to table, so that the next generation of children will grow up and say, of course we grow our food. We all know how to grow our food. And this will be the way that we can ensure food security, and so that all people have enough food and healthy nourishment. And this will be a network that it goes both virtual and also in person, so that communities can bond and participate in these learning opportunities in gardens and farms and swamplands and all kinds of regenerative processes. And the Maui Aloha Project is committed to the Sustainable Development Goals to transform our world, such as zero hunger, climate action, and good health and well-being, to name a few. Keisha.
So there have been so many people to contribute to this vision. So many people have come in and lended their expertise in real estate, in indigenous practices, in the shamanic consultants and ministers, lecturers, just so many, and even you that are watching, your added gifts to this vision are very important.
Keisha.
So the Maui Aloha Project is a collective vision that welcomes your input and your collaboration. And we know that many, many people share this common vision, especially now. We've held this vision for over a decade now, and now it's most everyone that I talk to is craving this similar vision. So we welcome you to email us if you're interested in sharing with us at mauialohaproject@gmail.com.
And Mira.
Okay, so this is a kind of a summary of some of the things that we are going to be creating, and it is in anticipation of the funding that we are going to receive and the global cooperation that's going to come. So during this process of creating the Maui Aloha Project, we've been guided by a living and growing vision of our Maui Island home as a thriving seed of life for planet Earth. Because we understand that fundamental change is needed in our political, environmental, and socioeconomic systems. And without that change, the inhabitants of Earth and future generations cannot survive or thrive. Therefore, we are passionate about resolving core issues affecting Earth and humanity, and we're ready to fund through our project 2 aspects. One would be the eco-villages on sacred land trusts, and the second would be a philanthropic foundation that we call the Seeds of Life Foundation. The eco-villages will be models for the world as a thriving, sustainable community, and the foundation, the Seeds of Life Foundation, will address local and global issues and provide solutions for real change, creating a lasting legacy of peace and prosperity for our children's children. Our Maui Aloha Eco-Village will establish healing centers, tropical permaculture and aquaponics farms, an international conference center for peace negotiations, educational symposiums for residents and visitors, and schools for children who will carry on humanity's evolution. We will expand our ecotourism business, which is already up and running, featuring Maui as a vast and diversified destination, the best the world has to offer. Through our Seeds of Life Foundation, we will provide funding for community infrastructure and a seed bank, local abundant food programs, strategies for healing the land, streams, and the ocean, and preserve our Hawaiian culture. While all aspects of this project will create new jobs and support a flourishing economy, Maui will then become a showcase of a thriving global community, birthing a new world. It is our intention with the Maui community and communities around the world that we work with to foster a spirit of cooperation with other groups and collaborate with local, national, and global efforts in alignment with our common goals. We believe that our project provides solutions to current economic and environmental crises. Our guiding philosophy is heal the earth, heal the people, because progress is not possible unless both are healed. Due to our present challenges of environmental pollution and the destruction of Maui's tourism business due to the COVID-19 disaster and the wildfires, our local economy and Hawaiian way of life are threatened. Maui Aloha Project and our Seeds of Life Foundation will put in place programs to assist the economy and preserve Hawaiian culture while balancing our challenged ecosystem. Tourism is Hawaii's most lucrative business and has been the primary base for our local economy. Sustainable tourism, agricultural, and new technologies are the current viable discussions by our elected officials and tourism board for new economic growth on the islands. Since these recent disasters, our ecotourism business, agricultural, and educational ventures will facilitate vital economic renewal, while our eco-villages will employ all types of residents with meaningful work. Our Seeds of Life Foundation will address the implementation of needed advanced technologies and support collaborative efforts with other projects on the islands and abroad to heal the earth and heal the people. MAP will lead a hungry world on a path toward peace and prosperity, providing practical answers for a society questioning current methodologies and demanding true change. As our project grows, it will provide a platform for a global exchange of knowledge and abundance. MAP's successes will ultimately serve the entire Hawaiian island chain, as well as the global community, creating foundation stones for a reclaimed and renewed earth. We will have trust funds that will assist ourselves, our families and friends, the MAP visionary team and core personnel, local and global initiatives, and create a legacy. We're going to hire a vetted trust management team, a beneficiary giving specialist, and experts in the field to help manage our humanitarian project. And we will have more detailed information available to show our proposed funding objectives, our estimated cost projections, evolving phases of our eco-villages, and we will present outlines showing the initial seeds of life that we wish to fund immediately. During the first years of our gestation period, our core team members have formed partnerships with the universities of Hawaii, Toronto, the Institute of Professional Studies, Agile Learning Centers, and several other local and national groups and talented individuals ready to step up to fulfill this mission. We have many committed and vetted teammates and many more waiting in the wings to join us. In our collective life experience, we have dedicated ourselves to earth restoration, justice, human services, business, the healing professions, teaching and educational programs, science, and most importantly, the development of personal maturity required to fulfill this vision with integrity. And in closing this presentation, we want you to understand that we are intending to heal our land and waters and return it to pristine purity, supporting the people through our many offerings. Maui residents and visitors alike will experience an emerging community of light, and Maui's sweet natural beauty, partaking of the spirit of our island in new and wonderful ways. Our children will experience advanced educational systems that support personal freedom, sovereignty, and infinite possibilities. The Hawaiian saying, Maui no ka'oi, Maui is the best, will endure through time, expressing the love and pride we hold in our hearts for our home. An abundant future for Maui and our global society depends upon implementation of programs like the ones outlined above in our project profile and the slides. We're asking for a high amount of investment so that we can support this vision. Maui will truly become the embodiment of the principle of aloha, perpetuating our multi-generational goals. And we will navigate through the great change to a new earth. We want to thank you for listening to our presentation and for helping us realize this grand dream. Aloha.
Aloha, Stephanie. Thank you so very much. Give me just a moment for closing commercial credits here. So thank you so much. Give me just a moment here. Well, again, thank you all for joining us. This is Conversations with Andrew Waves Jr. Today, we're hosting the weekly Indigenous Global UnityNet program hosted by Lloyd Helferty. Lloyd Helferty is also part of our AHIABGA team. That's for the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors, Advocates, and Activists. Lloyd is representing not just Canada, but also Canada's role as a member of the Francophone community worldwide and the Commonwealth of Nations. But more importantly to today's discussion, he's also a representative of Turtle Island, which in fact represents the indigenous map of the entire Western Hemisphere, as far as I'm concerned. But this is being brought to you by AHIABGA-TV. You will find us on Facebook, AHIABGA-TV network and groups. But we also are inviting you to follow our ongoing activities on the New World Network. There is a blog, www.speak.nwn.tv, and hopefully we'll have a replay of the transcript there. But the idea, Stephanie, is for us to actually operationalize the Sustainable Development Goals. So having said that, again, let me take a moment and share my screen. We're going to now move to my close, only 60 seconds, so it won't be too long. Thanks for bearing with me. And Lloyd, you've given me an opportunity now with this presentation today to use this as a model that we can, in the future, take forward with what we're doing on a global scale. And I do appreciate the work you've done in the last 125 weeks, Lloyd, to give us an example of how an organic way to build a community of trust among ourselves. Just a moment, please. So again, this is being brought to you by the Andrew Networks and our flagship, AHIABGA-TV. You can reach me at andrew@andrewnetworks.com, or for anyone interested in this presentation, they can also follow me at AHIABGA-TV@gmail.com. This is Andrew Williams Jr. I'm going to end the recording now and open it up for questions and answers. Thank you so much, Lloyd.